Two people can make the same salary, live in the same town, and shop at the same grocery store, but experience money like they live in different worlds. One of them sees a car repair and feels annoyed. The other sees the same repair and feels panic. One gets offered a promotion and thinks, "Will this make my life better?" The other thinks, "I have to say yes because I need the money." One looks at a house payment and sees a choice. The other sees a trap with a front door. The difference is not always income. It is usually a set of quiet money turning points that most people do not notice while they are crossing them. In this video, we are going to map 5 of those turning points in plain English. Not as flexing, not as judgment, just as a way to understand why money starts feeling different at certain stages, even before someone looks rich. The first turning point is when a problem stays a problem instead of becoming a disaster. Before this point, every surprise is expensive emotionally. A flat tire is not just a flat tire. It becomes a credit card balance, a late bill, an argument, a delayed grocery trip, or one more reason to check the account before buying gas. This is the stage where people can look normal from the outside while living with no margin on the inside. The turning point is not a huge net worth number. It is the first real cushion. Enough cash that a bad Tuesday can remain a bad Tuesday. That might be $1,000. It might be 1 month of expenses. For some families, it is just the first time the emergency fund is not imaginary. The life change is subtle. You do not suddenly feel wealthy. You feel less cornered. And that matters because panic makes people expensive decisions. Panic sells investments at the wrong time. Panic takes bad loans. Panic says yes to things just to survive the week. So the first checkpoint is not glamorous. It is boring cash that buys a little calm. The second turning point is when your fixed costs stop swallowing your future. Most people ask, "Can I afford this payment?" But the better question is, can my life survive this payment? A house, a car, a phone plan, insurance, subscriptions, minimum debt payments, childcare, and taxes can all look reasonable one by one. Then they stack together and quietly steal every option you thought your income gave you. This is why two people with the same paycheck can feel completely different. Person 1 has a normal-looking life with fixed costs that leave no oxygen. Person 2 has a less impressive life with more space between income and obligation. The second person may not look richer. They may drive the older car. They may live in the smaller place. They may say no to upgrades that seem normal. But their money can breathe. That breathing room changes everything. It gives you time to wait before making a decision. It lets you handle repairs without drama. It gives investing a chance to continue when life gets messy. This is where housing becomes especially important. A home can be a foundation, or it can become a financial anchor. The difference is not whether owning is good or bad. The difference is whether the payment leaves oxygen. If the house requires every raise, every bonus, and every quiet hope about future income, the house is not giving stability. It is renting stability from your future self. The third turning point is when your money gets a job. Before this stage, saving is mostly effort. You earn, you spend less than you earn, and you push the leftover money into a safe place. That work matters. But after a certain point, effort alone is not the whole story anymore. The system starts to matter. This is why the first $100,000 feels so important for many people. The number itself is not magic. It is not a finish line. It is the moment when a person often has enough money for the next mistake to matter. If that money has no job, it can slowly leak away. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, a series of small lifestyle upgrades that each feels deserved. But if the money has a job, it can become the start of a machine. Some of it protects emergencies. Some of it waits for known expenses. Some of it invests for long-term growth. Some of it gives you permission not to touch the rest. The turning point is when you stop asking, "How much do I have?" and start asking, "What is each dollar supposed to do?" That question sounds simple, but it separates a pile of money from a plan. The fourth turning point is when debt pressure drops. This does not always mean every debt is gone. But there is a moment when the monthly pressure finally stops controlling every decision. Maybe a car loan is paid off. Maybe credit cards are gone. Maybe the mortgage is finally finished. Maybe the student loan that has been sitting in the background for years disappears. When a major payment goes away, the obvious benefit is cash flow. The hidden benefit is psychological. Your job feels different when you do not need every dollar to make the month work. A risky boss feels different. A surprise bill feels different. Even a promotion feels different because you can evaluate it instead of automatically chasing it. But this turning point has a trap. When an old payment disappears, lifestyle can quickly invent a new one. The car payment becomes a kitchen upgrade. The credit card minimum becomes a vacation habit. The mortgage payment becomes a bigger monthly lifestyle. And suddenly the person is technically debt-free in one area, but not actually freer. The move is to capture the old payment before it gets absorbed. Send part of it to reserves. Send part of it to investing. Send part of it to maintenance or future known costs. Freedom is not just removing a payment. Freedom is deciding where that payment goes next. The fifth turning point is when you can say no without explaining your entire life. This is the quietest stage, and it is the one people misunderstand the most. At first, saying yes feels responsible. Yes to the extra shift. Yes to the promotion. Yes to the bigger title. Yes to the move. Yes to the project nobody else wants. Sometimes yes is exactly the right answer. It can build skills, increase income, and create leverage. But after a while, a bigger job can make life smaller. More money arrives, but so do more meetings, more stress, more status pressure, more spending to recover from the stress, and less time to use the life the money was supposed to improve. This is where financial strength changes the question. The question is no longer, can I get more? The question becomes, does this give me more options or just more obligations? That is a very different kind of math. A raise that costs every evening may not be a raise. A promotion that forces a larger lifestyle may not increase freedom. A bigger house that removes all margin may not feel like success for very long. The goal is not to say no to ambition. The goal is to stop confusing every bigger number with a better life. When someone crosses this turning point, people may not understand them. They may look less hungry, less impressed, less available for every opportunity. They may keep the older car, stay in the same house, or turn down a title that other people would chase. But from the inside, the decision feels different. They are not choosing less life. They are choosing fewer obligations that pretend to be progress. So those are the 5 turning points. First, a problem stays a problem instead of becoming a disaster. Second, fixed costs leave enough oxygen for choices. Third, money gets a job instead of just sitting as a number. Fourth, debt pressure drops and old payments are redirected. Fifth, you can say no because more is no longer automatically better. None of these stages require looking rich. In fact, many of them look boring from the outside. But that is the point. Real financial progress often looks like fewer emergencies, fewer forced decisions, fewer explanations, and more quiet space between you and the next thing that goes wrong. If this map made money feel a little easier to see, subscribe to XX Invests. We turn confusing financial decisions into simple animated pictures. This video is for education and entertainment only, not personal financial advice. Always consider your own situation before making major money decisions.